For many of us, the thought of buying a home can be daunting, but for most of the world's ultra-rich, an impressive home is an absolute necessity. Forget your expectations of a normal mansion. These homes redefine the meaning of luxury, with amenities fit for royalty and price tags that restrict these homes to individuals with well over $1 billion. From French chateaus to Indian mega towers, we're counting down the top 15 most incredible homes in the world. This massive house holds the title as both the largest and most expensive home in Los Angeles County. The property was originally owned by crooner Bing Crosby, but producer Aaron Spelling had the house razed to the ground when he bought it in 1988. You may not recognize Spelling by name, but he is the single most prolific producer in television history. His past shows include Charlie's Angels, Love Boat, Dynasty, Beverly Hills 90210, and Seventh Heaven. At the time of his passing, Spelling had an estimated net worth of well over $600 million. Although he was extremely shy in real life, Spelling decided to build the most ostentatious house LA had ever seen. The 123-room behemoth included a screening room, gym, bowling alley, 3 rooms for wrapping presents, 4 two-car garages, tennis court, and several pools. The parking lot accommodates 100 vehicles, and there are also 16 carports. The house was very controversial among neighbors, as it dwarfed even the most impressive mansions for miles around. After Spelling died in 2003, the house was sold to socialite Petra Stunt, who was only 23 at the time. The list price was $150 million, by far the highest in LA history. Stunt, who also owns a $90 million residence in London, has recently expressed interest in selling the manor. Beyond its size and location, this home has some of the most amazing amenities on our countdown. It took real estate legend Bruce Makowsky and a team of 300 more than 4 years to renovate this property, which went on the market in 2017 for a phenomenal $250 million. Makowsky said that he was inspired after spending time on mega yachts, whose price tags ranged from $200 to $300 million. Makowsky designed the house specifically for a new class of billionaire, and included such luxuries as $30 million worth of luxury cars, a priceless art collection, a 4-lane bowling alley, custom-built glass pool tables, foosball tables and ping pong tables, a candy wall, and the largest residential television in the world, which is 30 feet wide. And that is just the outdoor TV, which is placed at the end of an infinity pool, looking out over Los Angeles. Nearby is one of the most advanced home theaters ever built, a $2 million James Bond-themed screening room with 40 reclining seats made from handcrafted Italian leather, and a 22-foot screen, and a sound system with 57 speakers and 16 subwoofers that you feel as much as you hear. The 4K projector is also preloaded with 7,000 movies as well as loads of games. As part of the price, Makowsky will also pay for the home's full-time staff of 7, including a chef, chauffeur, and masseuse, for 2 years. Though he has yet to find a buyer for this incredible home, it's hard to argue that the price tag is largely justified. This Hamptons estate actually includes 4 different houses, for a total of 110,000 square feet. The main house alone has 29 bedrooms, 39 bathrooms, a basketball court, movie theater, and bowling alley. In addition to 3 swimming pools and miles of private shoreline, there is a hot tub valued at more than $150,000. The property taxes alone are $650,000 every year, more than enough to buy an incredible home somewhere else. The house is owned by junk bonds billionaire Ira Rennert. He bought the home for a comparatively meager $100 million before undergoing such a massive construction project that many neighbors threatened to take him to court. The house is currently valued at $250 million. This Montana mansion has 10 bedrooms and is located directly beneath a ski resort called Rampage Mountain. The owners don't need to worry about getting cold in the winter though. In addition to a wine cellar, massage room, and gym, the house has heated floors and a fireplace in every single bathroom. Not much is known about the property, but its owner Tim Blixseth has been the source of dozens of scandals over the years. The former timber baron has defrauded banks and even sold fraudulent software to the US military. In 2007, his net worth was valued at $1.3 billion, but after a string of messy divorces, he filed for bankruptcy in 2014. Though the house is still registered in his name, he will likely be selling the magnificent property soon to pay his settlements. It is currently valued at $155 million. Updown Court is an incredible California-style mansion located in Windlesham, England. It has some of the most amazing features of any privately owned home in the world. For example, it has an astonishing 103 rooms, 24 bedrooms, fully automated 2-lane bowling alley, 5 swimming pools including an infinity pool, a squash court, a floodlit tennis court, a wine cellar with a capacity for 3,000 bottles, and a panic room. Equally as impressive, the house sits on 58 acres of landscaped gardens and woodland. Even the roads at Updown Court are impressive. The house house is entered by a $3 million heated marble driveway. The house was initially constructed in 1924 for British General Sir Philip Ward and his family of 5. It stayed in their possession until 1977, when Saudi Prince Sami Gayed bought the property for an undisclosed amount. Unfortunately, the house was nearly destroyed 10 years later in an electrical fire and sat in disuse for more than a decade until a redevelopment company began rebuilding it as a dream home for Bruce Willis. Though Willis pulled out of the deal, the house has had many owners since 2000. The annual operating costs of the mansion are more than $3 million, so it's imperative that each owner has an excessive income. The property was last sold for $139 million. The Playboy Mansion is an opulent 12-bedroom home in Beverly Hills. The 21,000-square-foot mansion is less famous for its amenities than it is for its notoriously hedonistic lifestyle of its inhabitants. The house was built in 1927 and had several owners before Playboy acquired it in 1971 for a modest $1 million. The Playboy Mansion is, of course, most closely associated with the late founder of Playboy magazine, Hugh Hefner. But in reality, Hefner paid rent to the Playboy Enterprises, who owned the mansion, to the tune of $1 million a year. The home has 80 full-time staff, not including playmates, a massive wine cellar, a movie theater, tennis courts, a grotto, and a zoo. But the most interesting facts about the Playboy Mansion have very little to do with the house itself. The property has been the epicenter of sexual socializing for more than 50 years. Countless celebrities have graced the mansion's halls and many moved in for periods of time, including Godfather actor James Caan and poet Shel Silverstein. And it turns out the mansion's reputation for dirty activities is well-founded. In 2011, 123 guests developed high fevers and respiratory illnesses. A team of epidemiologists traced the disease back to a specific whirlpool hot tub in the grotto, where a wide variety of adult activities had just transpired. But aside from this incident, the mansion has been one of the most famous residences in pop culture. Despite the controversy surrounding Hugh Hefner and his legacy, the home was sold for $100 million soon after Hefner's death. The castle is located in the town of Bran, deep in the Transylvanian region of Romania. However, the name is a bit of a misnomer. Vlad the Impaler, a 15th century prince known for his proclivity for torture and cruelty, was the inspiration for Bram Stoker's 1897 Dracula. Vlad spent time in the region around Bran Castle, and the current owners decided to capitalize on the tourism they knew Dracula's name would bring. In reality, the castle was first constructed in 1212 and was home to many different dynasties, including Mongols, Ottomans, and Magyars. Since 2009, the castle has belonged to Archduke Dominic von Habsburg, part of the Austrian royal family. Though the property is valued at a whopping $135 million, Archduke Dominic decided to open the castle as a museum. Now visitors can experience its 57 rooms and 17 bedrooms firsthand. The castle is still outfitted with much of the furniture from the peak of the Austrian Habsburg Empire, and many of the antique items are as priceless as the house itself. Kensington Palace is the highlight of London's Billionaires' Row. The street is one of the most expensive residential zip codes in the world, and Kensington is by far the most impressive. The property is valued at more than $140 million and was last purchased by Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich. Though he has many business ventures, he's probably best known as the owner of Chelsea, the British football club. Despite its current ownership, Kensington Palace is most closely associated with the British royal family. It was first the residence of Queen Mary II in the 1600s. Over time, it served both as a full-time residence and a seasonal home to numerous monarchs. But during World War II, the palace served a much scarier purpose. The British military refitted the facilities and transformed them into a prisoner of war camp, known colloquially as the London Cage. Though the grounds were located in an extremely central London neighborhood, precautions were taken to keep the events totally secret. Only after the war did it come out that the facilities were used for torture, complete with dozens of cages and interrogation rooms. Since then, the house has been converted back into a royal residence. Prince William and Prince Harry both grew up in the palace with their mother, Princess Diana, even after her divorce from Prince Charles. Now the Italian-style residence has been returned to its former glory, and future additions including an underground extension with a tennis court, health center, and a fully functional auto museum. Only a 30-minute drive from Manhattan, this slice of Connecticut coast has been a magnet for New York City socialites for more than 200 years. This particular house was built in 1905 and boasts 9 bedrooms, 15-foot ceilings, 7 fireplaces, views of the Long Island Sound from almost every room in the house, in addition to a private beach and yacht basin. The 63-acre island is connected to the mainland by a narrow bridge, but once you're on the property, you'll have total privacy. Unlike many houses on this countdown, this house has been in the same family since the 1800s. It was purchased by 19th century industrialist William Ziegler, who made most of his money manufacturing baking powder. Since then, it has stayed in his family, who reportedly only use it as a summer home. Its list price is an astonishing $175 million. If it found a buyer, it would be the most expensive home sale in United States history. This Spanish Revival-style home is without a doubt one of the most majestic properties in the world. It was built in San Simeon, California in 1919 by newspaper magnate William Randolph Hearst. When he started his career, he only owned a couple of tabloids, but now Hearst Communications owns hundreds of publications, including Cosmopolitan and Esquire, and networks like A&E and ESPN. After amassing a huge fortune, Hearst built his massive estate and used it to host some of the most legendary parties of the 1920s and 30s. Invitations were difficult to come by, and guests included Charlie Chaplin, Cary Grant, the Marx Brothers, Greta Garbo, Clark Gable, James Stewart, Bob Hope, Calvin Coolidge, Franklin Roosevelt, and Winston Churchill. The incredible property contains 56 bedrooms, 61 bathrooms, 19 sitting rooms, 127 acres of gardens, indoor and outdoor swimming pools, tennis courts, a movie theater, an airfield, and the world's largest private zoo. Zebras and other exotic animals still roam the grounds to this day. Other novelties include a full Roman temple, complete with Neptune pool. Famously, the house was the inspiration for Xanadu in Orson Welles' highly acclaimed 1941 film Citizen Kane. But Hearst was outraged by his portrayal and disallowed them from filming on his property. To this day, only 2 filming projects have been allowed: Stanley Kubrick's Spartacus and the music video for Lady Gaga's song GUI. Though part of the property has been converted into a museum, the house is still valued at $191 million. This property is easily one of the most impressive in the world. But unlike the other houses in our countdown, the penthouse is a $200 million apartment located in Hyde Park in London. This flat manages to justify its jaw-dropping price tag. To begin with, it has 2 stories with floor-to-ceiling windows, its own parking lot, and access to a host of spas and squash courts. On top of that, it has a tunnel leading directly to TV chef Heston Blumenthal's only London restaurant. Despite being one of the most celebrated chefs in the UK, Blumenthal and his staff are on call for room service 24/7. On top of these luxuries, the apartment is outfitted with a security system straight out of a sci-fi movie. The residence has security features including bulletproof windows, SAS-trained security guards, an air purifier to frustrate poison gas attacks, iris-scanning doors, and a panic room where the owners can retreat in safety should they be targeted by kidnappers or robbers. Perhaps most interestingly, the apartment's new owners have remained completely anonymous, citing safety concerns for themselves and their families. This mansion complex is located in the super exclusive city in the French Riviera known as Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat. Each of the 3 houses on the lot is valued at about 70 million euros, making this one of the most valuable properties in the world at an estimated $410 million. 2 of the 3 houses are intended as guest houses, but even they include 9 bedrooms, a private terrace, and a swimming pool. Other amenities include a nightclub with a full bar, a fully functional spa with steam room, massage area and hot tub, and an infinity pool looking out over the Mediterranean. Despite Cap Ferrat's amazing amenities, it is not the highlight of the French Riviera. Villa Leopolda sits in the luxurious vacation district of Villefranche-sur-Mer. Not only is this Belle Époque-era mansion larger, it sits on 18 acres of land, but it is also rich with history. It was built in 1929 for Belgian King Leopold II. At his death, it was passed down to the next Belgian king, until he was ousted during World War II and the house was used as a military hospital. After many attempts at swaying its former owners, Russian billionaire Mikhail Prokhorov was able to buy the house in 2008 for a whopping $370 million. In addition to 12 pools, the main house contains 19 deluxe bedrooms, 14 bathrooms, antique furniture, and terraces. You can also find sports courts, a bowling alley, and even a movie theater. As expected, it also contains valuable marble and old period artwork from the original tenants. This is both the most expensive and the tallest residential home in the world. The 27-story house has 600 full-time staff and is valued well over $1 billion. Shockingly, the house is only intended for Indian billionaire Mukesh Ambani and his family of 5, with all the additional space meant to accommodate luxuries for their enjoyment. It is also placed in one of the poorest slums in Mumbai, stoking controversy over its cost and wastefulness while Indian citizens starve mere feet away. There are 3 helipads on the roof, an entire floor dedicated to servicing Ambani's many cars, a health floor with a jacuzzi, indoor pool, and ice room for the family to experience snow indoors, in addition to 6 separate floors just for parking. Among many other indulgences, the house has 4 dedicated rooms for hanging gardens, where residents can go to relax. Though the house is viewed as cruel and offensive by many, it is certainly an impressive property. Though it is also used for many political and administrative purposes, Buckingham Palace is by far the most valuable home in the world, valued at $1.55 billion. Of course, the palace is home to England's royal family and was first constructed by the Duke of Buckingham in 1703. Since then, it has been refurbished and remodeled dozens of times, but still maintains its classic appearance. In addition to the largest garden in the UK, the house has an astonishing 775 rooms, a royal pavilion, and one of the most impressive art collections in the world. Of the 775 rooms, more than 250 are bedrooms, and it also has a post office, cinema, swimming pool, doctor's surgery, and jeweler's workshop. As the Queen's official residence, she keeps it in top condition. Her throne room and white drawing room are some of the most expensively decorated in the world, complete with chandeliers, jewels, and antique portraiture. Their gallery is currently highlighting Dutch and French works, with paintings by Rembrandt, Rubens, Van Dyck, and Claude. From the ornate furnishings to the historical significance, Buckingham Palace is truly priceless.